Hi, my name is John Kozinski, and I'm going to be talking about um, goitrogens, kale, tofu, and tempeh, and goitrogen warning. Kale has become very popular. One very well-known natural food chain where I was shopping, not to be mentioned by name, uh, had a bag. On my bag of groceries, it said, "Collards are the new kale," which I thought was pretty funny given the fact that I've been eating kale for so many years. So I'm a kale veteran of 40 years more. And so kale has some wonderful benefits as a health food, as far as a healthy food as does all the greens and collard greens and broccoli. Um, the problem with those things, though, is that there was also something in kale and collards and the cruciferous vegetables, cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower, called goitrogens. And goitrogens in excess particularly can hurt the thyroid, particularly if your diet is really low in iodine. So, although these are wonderful foods, they have anti-cancer properties. They add some calcium to the diet regularly. They have a cleansing property because of the chlorophyll, and they have good quality magnesium in them. I think we have to be cautious of them. The best way to have them is to have them cooked and then throw away the cooking water, because goitrogens will stop the thyroid from functioning. And this is a big deal because basically goitrogen, you need a thyroid to function. The thyroid controls carbohydrate metabolism, which means how you use energy. We get energy mostly from carbohydrates. So it's a really big deal not to overdo that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't eat some every day. I just would recommend to avoid the kale smoothies, avoid raw kale, very popular thing, and the kale chips, because when you don't cook them, the goitrogens are very highly present. And there's just more and more people I've known people eating a more vegetarian macrobiotic way of eating have developed thyroid problems, and I believe part of it was from the overuse of the kale and the greens. The other foods that have these goitrogens are tofu and tempeh. And tofu and tempeh are foods that have been overused because they're touted as a vegetarian protein source. Although they have protein in them, we should probably learn from traditional Asian cultures of how they use tofu and tempeh. Usually no more than once or twice a week in small amounts. And the tofu is very high in goitrogens. Tempeh is somewhat high in goitrogens, so it could slow down the thyroid and cause a lot of problems. Given that thyroid deficiency is a major problem in America, we should be cautious with our goitrogens. We can eat some of them, although we don't want to go crazy with them and eat mounds of them like I know people have gotten into eating huge amounts of greens, the mountain of greens. So let's be moderate with this so we don't run into these problems, these energy problems. Another way of understanding that is greens, because there's an energetic understanding of food, that greens basically grow out of the earth and release energy, because that's their nature to grow up. So this has a natural cooling effect, a moderately cooling effect. And that cooling can be slowing down the metabolism by knocking down your thyroid. So the reason the thyroid controls the metabolism, and low metabolism is related to all diseases, so we should be cautious with our amount of these goitrogens in food.